Hey everyone, this is part 2 of our timelines tutorial. This one I wanted just to quickly talk about using a character that has animations already that were developed in a different piece of software, or just have that has animation clips in general. The Sphere Man or Kira characters that you're using will have animations already built in. You can use those for cinematics if you'd like. So I kind of wanted to show you how to integrate those with Timeline, because it's quite nice and quite useful. So I'm using this Ellen character that's from Unity, whatever pack, game asset, 3D game kit pack that they have. So I've dragged Ellen in here. She has an animator. She has her skinned mesh in here. She has her skeleton and stuff. So very, very typical kind of character that you'd be working with. I have my timeline that I created here. That's just a blank one. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to just drag Ellen in here, and I'm going to, just like before, create an animation track. I could do the same thing that I was doing before, where I could actually animate Ellen's character by default, like by hand. So if you wanted to make an animation that was, custom, you could do that in here too. So there's nothing stopping you from actually animating the skeletal character in here if you wanted to. But that's not what we're going to be doing today. So I'm going to just delete this one here. I'm going to add Ellen back in. We have animations that Ellen has come with already. So if we go into our project here, she has come with lots of different animations. So we can use these to create a cinematic. So let's just throw in an idle, for instance. So with your animations, you'll notice that I can't actually throw in this animation in here. The actual pack I can throw in the mesh, but what I actually need is the animation clip that's inside of these. So because these could be broken down into multiple different animations, that's why you can't drag that one, and you actually have to drag the clip in. So I'm going to throw an Ellen idle in here, and you'll see here she disappeared for me because this clip takes place at 0, 0, 0, so she's actually been moved into this location. So if I hit play, she's going to play her idle animation. Now, you may not want Ellen to be here, and if you try to move her and then play your animation clip, she's going to snap back, because that's what the these are. That's what the animation clips are telling her to do. So what you could always do is inside your timeline or wherever, you can create an empty game object and just call it like Ellen pivot or something like that. And I'm going to put Ellen in here. Let's make sure this is all zeroed out and zeroed out. So now Ellen is going to play all her animations off of this pivot. So now if I move the pivot around, she will do her animations, where I want her to. So anyway, so here's an idle, right? So she could just play an idle. So if you're doing like a menu or something, you can slap this in there and have her play it. If you wanted her to play the idle multiple times, when you first drag a clip in, it will just play it once. If you actually take this clip and extend it, you'll see here it's adding another L1, L2. This is adding just more versions of that clip, and you can have it play for as long as you want. If I cap this right at the end of an animation and I set my timeline to loop, it will just play through that idle multiple times. Now, for a menu or a cinematic or something, you may want multiple animations, obviously. So why don't we take something else? Let's go into our project. We have idle. Let's do. Oh, she's got a gun idle, gun shoot, spawn. There's a whole bunch of cool stuff in here. Oh, random idle. Here we go. There's some other idles in here. I'm going to put this other idle in here, and she'll just transition right to that one. Well, she won't transition. They all start at the same frame, so she's just going to play the next one. And then I could add some more. I can use the mouse scroll here to zoom out a little bit. So I could put a couple of different idles in here, and she'll just play through a bunch of them. If you don't like how they're transitioning or swapping to animations, you can actually move these over top of each other, and they will transition those two things. So if you had an animation that, say, didn't actually transition from the idle, so let's do I don't know. This is hit back. Boom. Yeah, they all start from this one, so they should all nicely transition anyways, but if you wanted to, you could overlap these by a little bit, and it's going to transition those two and kind of soften them in and out. But it looks like all her animations were all done from the one idle pose, so yeah, they're all going to transition quite nice. So yeah, anyways, that's a quick little, just slapping animations in there. Let's take a look at her walk. I believe she has a walk in here. She has a run, turn, walk forward. So let's throw a walk forward in here. So you'll notice she's actually walking forward. She's actually moving through the scene, and she's snapping back there. So if I do multiple of these, she's just going to keep walking forward. Now, the reason she's actually moving is Ellen is set to apply root motion, so she's actually taking the motion from the root bone and applying it through the scene. If I turn that off, she'll just walk in a spot. And then what I would need to do is animate this Ellen pivot, with her. This is like the old school way of doing animations without doing the root motion stuff. Root motion's great because it really syncs up with her steps. There's no sliding, it feels really good, right? So you can have her walk for a couple bits there. Then you can have, she has a forward left, and then you can play that one. Oh, that one is doing some crazy stuff. Oh, I see. Oh, that's weird. That's not what you want. You want like a turn on the spot. Let's see how this looks. So she's walked over here. Okay, and this one moves back. So perhaps you do not want root motion for all of these. Can we set up hold? Loop. Foot IK. I'm sure there's a good way to turn that off. So it's interesting because I want some things to be root motion, but it's not all things, right? So this is where you're kind of getting to a problem. Now, if you turned off root motion, right, you would have, oh, not that one. Jeez, Ellen. Right? You would have her walk and then turn there. So then if you animated her going all the way over here, and then by the time she got here, you would have her turn, you would have a lot more control over that. I guess there is no way to do some root motion, but not all. Kind of makes sense. Let me see here. So we want to do that, and then for this one, we want to just blend in. Let's see what they have here. No. Move start to offset. No. Well, I can look into this. I'm not sure if there's a way to use root motion in here and kind of not use it sometimes. So your best bet is just to not use root motion and then kind of move through there. But you do have all these animations available to you. So if you did want to, let's do another one. So we're going to put Ellen's pivot in here as an animation track. And we're going to move her from here. Whoa, why are you? I didn't rotate you. Weird. And we're going to move her over here. We'll have to probably, yeah, she's sliding a little bit, so might have to, oh God. Might have to, play around with that, but now we can have her going. I'm also easing in and out. That's the other thing. By default, you have curves, which is not maybe what, her animation is set up to do. So I could go here and just do linear. And then this way. There we go. Much nicer. Still sliding a little bit. You see here the this animation, the turn on the spot, is now she's not actually turning. So what we're going to have to do is I might want to blend this in a little bit, and then actually I will have to animate her turning as well. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, obviously. Ellen pivot. Why is this not animating? Weird. What the heck did I animate? Ellen pivot, right? Yeah. Usually that shows the number moving there. I don't know why. Oh, did I animate her moving? Whoops. Oh my goodness, this is going very poorly. Oh, I see. I did have Ellen pivot in here. Oh my god, okay. Let's just start this over. Let's add Ellen pivot back in here. Because Ellen is a child of Ellen pivot, I could still animate her through this guy here. So I was just selecting the wrong one. So let's do this. Let's do this again. Whoop. And then over here, I want her to turn, what is it, 45 degrees, I think. Right, so the turning's a little hard because you might have to, you know, really pay attention to, oh my god, when you're turning and stuff like that. So it is very finicky. There may be better ways to do this. I will have to look it up. I haven't worked with like root motion stuff and non-root motion stuff before. There you go. That's looking okay. Obviously there's some sliding, so I'm still going to most likely want to take off the those guys there. There's still like a weird, oh, she jumps to her idle pose, right, from that, so we may not want that necessarily. So we may want to just blend in, yeah, from her walk. You know, we can even cut this out a little bit. So you're going to have to kind of play around with these. Oh, play around with these a little bit. And make sure that they feel pretty good. Right, there's some sliding there. So again, it's going to take some time to really, you know, figure this stuff out and make it work really well. But you can use the animations that are provided for you in here. You know, it's not the best way to do cinematics because it does take some, you know, kind of pain in the butt work. You most likely just want to animate a full cinematic in excuse me, in 3D Max or something like that if you're doing something very specific. But for things like idles or just little things like that for the timeline editor, they do work quite well. If you did have lots of animations, you know, you could do some cool stuff like that. So let's take a look at Ellen. Ellen is, I believe, just one mesh, but if you had a gun on her or other props, you could animate them as well. So they could have their own animations that you're playing. They could have, you could turn them on and off and do stuff like that. So timeline's quite good for that kind of stuff. It's great for cinematics. You can use it in game as well. It's quite nice. We've used it for like actual mechanics and stuff because sometimes you want to control many things at once. So you want to play an animation, you want to hide and unhide stuff, you want to activate some effects. You may not necessarily want to do that all through code every single time. So sometimes it's nice just to have a timeline to be able to play around with that stuff. Whether that's the most efficient way to do it or not, I'm not sure. Most likely not. But it's still quite good. And again, for cinematics and things like that, it's definitely a good way to go and to work with that kind of stuff. So anyways, this was a very sloppy but hopefully effective tutorial on how to use animations in Timeline and how to kind of work with them and adjust them and kind of work from there. So anyways, I hope that's okay. Let me know if you have any questions, if you're having any problems with your project or using Sphereman or Kira and Liam or whatever you're using in there. Let me know. Cool. Thank you.